2 of the 2024 Difference Maker $50,000 Idea Challenge. Today's workshop is on assessing opportunities and value propositions. And the folks who are running this for you today are myself. I am Dr. Ray Mansfield, Associate Director of the Honors College, and Professor Neil Shortland of Criminal Justice and the Director of the Center for Counterterrorism Studies. Also want to send thanks to Dave Rodolaro and also Holly Lalos of Difference Maker. I would put this slide at the end, not at the beginning, but your next steps after this workshop are to remember to report register for the workshop that is happening in 2 days. So I will not see you back here on Wednesday, but come back here Wednesday for the third workshop in this year's series. Your idea plans are due this Friday before spring break, so make sure to get all of that submitted before you head off on spring break. Actually, that's kind of good. Get it all out of the way, and then you can actually relax on your vacation. On March 12th, the semi-finalist list will be announced, and then in April will be your preliminary pitch-off. And that is a lot of fun because you get to meet with subject experts and you get a lot of great questions during the preliminary pitch-off that can help you really hone and sharpen your idea. So, you know who we are. We are your Difference Maker Faculty Fellows. Stand and introduce yourself, because you are new this year.
It's a Shada?
Yeah. All right. So here's our agenda for this evening. And now is when you're going to go and you are going to reflect on what you did last week. So in your group, you are going to skip over that. Okay, so here's what you need to work on together at your table, and then we'll go around the room and you will have 1 minute to introduce yourself. So within each group, identify one person who's going to speak on behalf of the group. So in 1 minute or less, introduce yourself, name, your major, your year in school, your project name, the problem your team wants to solve. So at the last workshop, you identified what you're trying to do as a problem and created a problem statement. Who is affected by your problem? And is this based on your opinion or research? Do you need additional teammates? If you're trying to recruit out of the room, you can do that as well. And the type of problem which you want to solve, your interests and your skills in 1 minute or less. So now you've got how long to prepare to talk? Yep, you can speak on behalf of everyone in your group.
Okay, so this is Safat Nir, and my name is Ibrahim. Our project name or like company name is Bean Hub, and the problem that we're focusing on is tackling labor shortages in the fast food industry. Currently, people that are affected by this are obviously coffee owners and franchises. And then also another thing, by us tackling these labor shortage issues, we're trying to make the job for employees easier, so it makes the job, I guess, more appealing. Like if you look at nowadays, like DoorDash, almost no health benefits, nothing, but it's very appealing because like it's a very simple job. You just get in your car, get out once in a while, then you get out. So currently, we don't need any additional teammates, and we talked about 50 franchise owners, and they've all agreed about the biggest problem being finding employees.
Real need, not on this made up.
Hi, my name is Eamon. I'm a freshman, and my partner is not here today, unfortunately, couldn't make it. So our team is Mirror Image, and we're working towards improving solar panel efficiency, primarily working in low light areas, and trying to make a product that can help homeowners who don't have access to solar panels in low light areas purchase our product and be able to do that. We are not looking for any more teammates, unfortunately, at this moment. Yeah.
My name is Zach. This is my teammate Jonic. We're marketing majors or business majors, and we're freshmen. Our project is Sober Solutions, and we're trying to come up with an app to help recovering drug addicts. We don't really need any additional teammates right now, and that's about it.
I'm Hannah Hodzic. I'm a junior mechanical engineering major, and our project is Soundwaves, which is an app or platform that will bring more attention to live music and live performances. So it has all the information of venues, of any upcoming performances in the area, information on artists and bands, and just easy access to information for the user and audience to learn more about either the venues or music. So we're looking for any computer science majors or software app developers that would be interested in joining to make that app. And that's it.
So my name is Alex. I'm a comp sci major, a freshman. Our project is basically handling the problems within financial literacy. So there's a lot of individuals in high school and college setting who don't quite understand how to be financial literate, how to invest, how to manage their income, personal finances, and all that. And our project, which is basically a platform teaching individuals using marketing and other techniques, will help fix this issue on those different levels.
Hi, my name is Sam. My major is mechanical engineering, and I'm working on a project for accessible assistive devices. The problem we're trying to solve is that people who have limb differences, for the most part, have a very hard time getting their hands on accessible devices. So the idea here is to create a kiosk for them to take a 3D scan of their limb and then send them something that fits custom in the mail. And I'm still on my own right now, so I'm looking for 1 to 2 good teammates. Specifically, if you have experience as someone with a limb difference, know someone, are an engineer, or anything like that.
So my name is Tyler. I'm a senior computer science student. I'm the team leader for Socketech Solutions. This is my partner here, Hayden. So we're basically trying to solve the problem of user data privacy in home automation solutions. And right now, we don't really need any additional teammates because we're a pretty big team already. So that's pretty much it.
Hello, my name is James. I'm a freshman in biomedical engineering. My project name is called Ideal Air. We are making a welding helmet that has a built-in respirator. Our problem is welders are inhaling carcinogens from the welding fumes, and our solution is building in a respirator into the helmet so that they don't have to inhale these carcinogens. This project is based on research and just the percentage of welders who pass away from carcinogens. We can take additional teammates if you're interested in the project or you have any experience in welding or mechanics at all. That's about it.
Hey, my name is Alex. I'm a business major, a senior. I'm the team leader for RC Instruments, and the problem we're trying to solve is the lack of versatility and technological present value with Twyman Green interferometers. The people affected by our problem are defense contractors that are trying to calibrate telescopic optics used in satellites or in fighter jets. We're not really looking for additional teammates right now. I think I mentioned before, we could use maybe one more comp sci person who's familiar with some image processing. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Josh Landis. I am a mechanical engineer finishing up their master's thesis this semester. My project name is SparkCell. It is a solution to the problem of concrete and reinforced concrete structures and their susceptibility to deterioration being accelerated by things like salts, particularly road salts and sea spray. I aim to build a device that can analyze the elements in a sample piece of material to tell how much chloride contamination it has. This is something that you can do with other off-the-shelf units. However, I pose to make an economical version because an older technology that was less usable or had less signal before can now be utilized thanks to machine learning. So I am aiming to look for somebody who potentially has more background in data processing, machine learning, or UI interface building with Swift experience would be extremely helpful. Thank you.
My name is Levon. I'm a freshman comp sci major. My project is NextGen Laboratories. The main goal of my project is to make a device that allows you to filter out the impurities in testing media, which will achieve the same effect as just having a much more sensitive test at a significantly cheaper cost. I'm looking for a plastics engineer and a plastics engineer or mechanical engineer, and someone who's familiar with biochemistry and chemistry in general.
And now we are going to jump into assessing opportunities and how to take something and turn it from an idea into an opportunity. And we've got a rather ridiculous example on this slide. So for the ideas, when we went through all the brainstorming activities earlier this semester, anytime you do a brainstorming session, the important thing is to get out as many ideas as possible in a short period of time. And from this dump of ideas, you can see all sorts of different patterns. But then which ones of those ideas are actionable, which ones are actually going to fill a need, and which can you actually put into practice. So our example here is everything should taste like pickles. And so how can you actually make everything taste like pickles? Well, here it defines like an opportunity is a set of circumstances that creates a need for a new product. Now, while there might not be actually that much of a need for everything to taste like pickles, there is a company called Pickle Addicts that markets to people who love everything tastes like pickles, and they created pickle-flavored toothpaste. And you can go to their website, it costs $9.99, and they frequently sell out. There actually is a market for pickle-flavored toothpaste. So even if you're going to sell something niche, you can identify if you've got your clientele that want to buy this product, more power to you. But again, as you see, you discover the problem, talk to customers about it. There were these pickle addicts that wanted pickle-flavored toothpaste, and then do research on it. All right. So one of the other things you want to look at are opportunity gaps. So what is missing from the marketplace? And here's one of those things where I will disagree with some of the research on our example here. So this is a patent that was filed in 2004 that frequently gets mocked. It says it's a patent for a device for an animal such as a canine to gnaw, chew, or play fetch with. It looks like it's a patent for a stick. It's actually a patent for a nylon stick, but there were like 12 claims against this patent saying that it was not actually a valuable idea. The patent there were like 12 lawsuits against it, but there still is a huge market for nylon sticks. It does actually meet a missing need in the market. People do actually want things for their dogs to chew that will not give them splinters or cause digestive problems. So find your niche market, create your cool idea. I did steal that from my dog, they're probably wondering where it went. So here's the other thing, identify all of your potential customers and users. So for what you're proposing for the Idea Challenge this year, like who is going to purchase your solution? What is your market? Like last year we had people who were we've had people found clubs and different nonprofit organizations. So there you're looking for like who are your funders, and also like who are the people who are going to use your nonprofits, and then also who is going to use your solution. So sometimes the people who are going to be purchasing your product and the people who are using it are going to be the same population, but that might not necessarily be the case. And I think there's a silly example of this on the next slide of this slideshow. So the other thing when you're looking for your market, going back to like the pickle addict thing, there's not a huge market out there of people who want to buy pickle-flavored toothpaste, but there are going to be some people who are affected by your problem. How large is your market? Where do they live? Where do they work? what is their education level, like who are your potential customers. And this is one of our very first, they both won, were Difference Maker finalists, and they still exist as a club at Lowell, Enable Lowell, where they do the 3D printing of prostheses, which are free for kids around the world. And they make all kinds of really nice customized prostheses. So here's the silly cartoon of, here's the person paying, the people paying money for this mobile. It looks really cute to them. Look at these cute little animals that are spinning around. To the baby is just seeing the butts of the animals. It's not necessarily the best, most stimulating view, but it looks really cute to the parents looking at the toy. But the baby's not the one spending the money. All right, so when you are looking at your potential customers and users, how large a market do you think you might potentially have? And if you can say that there is a large number of people who need this, who need to access your opportunity, that creates more credibility that you, that your business, that your idea will actually work. And then you can also assess the scale of your idea. How many people need this? What is your potential market share? How many people does this affect? And this will also help you determine your, who your first customers and your early adopters will be. This is the one that I always find funny, because it's like, when you are going into the preliminary pitch-off, make your data about your market research and your product look visually appealing. This is almost a flashback to when, if you're in elementary school, when you're told, make all of your work look nice. People will pay more attention to you if you make all of your data easy to understand, visually appealing and clear. So here you can see, as you can see, it's easy to analyze, easy to see, and easy to show to other people. So that anybody looking at either of these on Android versus, on smartphone versus tablet usage by age, and then also iPhone user age, you can easily understand what the graphs are showing. Unless you're colorblind. This is the one where I have the sad insider information. So before you go in, as you're doing research on your competitors, so this is one of the teams from last year. They wanted to create a voting education app which informed voters about what was on the ballot for upcoming elections. They were doing their presentation in the preliminary pitch-off, and then one of the people in the room said, how does what you're doing differ from what Ballotpedia does? And they had never heard of Ballotpedia. So do research on all of your competitors. So you want to go out and see what exists in the market that is very similar to what you're doing, and how is what you're doing different? It's how are you filling this need in a different way? I mean, you don't want to only have one way to do something, but you want to say how what you're doing is different and better. Here's another one of our examples of where they have about doorknobs and issues, because not all doors around the world are going to be crash bars or flipper handles. Now, pretty much universally, people find crash bars and flipper handles on doors just to be the easiest ways to use the door, but that's not what exists around the world. So this particular product modifies existing doors to make them easier to turn. And as they see, this becomes an opportunity because most people have some discomfort with locks of doors, and most people are dissatisfied with the current solutions on the market. So there is a great place in there to find some, to address the need. All right, so let's see, do you have toolkits?
We do have them, so pass them.
Yay!
competition
And
opportunity.
the other thing here, like when you look at all of the different examples of iPhone cases and covers, there are so many different options at so many different price points because people want different things. So you have everything from something that's compostable to something that you can run over with a truck. Does everyone have a form? Yay! Okay. Alright, so if you have a writing utensil and your group or yourself, you're now going to fill out the competition opportunity worksheet. So, how is the problem that for your Difference Maker project currently being addressed? List the businesses and nonprofits that are providing solutions to the problem, and how big is their market share, or if you need to look this up and research it, if it's not something you can quickly gather right now, write down, I need to look up more about this later. How effective are the current solutions? What gaps do you see? Can you potentially create something that will address this gap in what is available? Can the current solutions that exist be improved upon or changed? And how is your solution different than your competitors? So that is what you're going to work on right now. Now I feel like I should be playing music, but... As you're going through your worksheet, you are having difficulty defining your competitive differentiator and your value proposition. You want to assess your opportunity by talking to all of the people who are affected by the problem. You can do this through surveys, through questionnaires, talking to people who will use your solution, so your potential users and customers. And then, of course, you can talk to faculty, fellows, and staff, and take advantage of all of the different library databases where you can see existing research studies. All right. So far, you should have your problem statement that you generated last week. You should be beginning to address who is affected by the problem that you are finding a solution to, how they are affected by the problem, and why it's important to solve this problem. And now, right now what you're working on is looking at your competition. So who is currently addressing your problem, how are the current solutions delivered, how effective they are, and what can be improved, what can be alternative approaches, and then also what can you do differently or better. I think now we switch to the middle point. So we're up to value positions. We have reached the Neil portion of the evening.
All right, thank you. All right, so hang on a minute. So the activity we've just done is identified our competition, correct? Okay, who has competition? Okay, let's go on a walk around. I don't know if this thing works, but I need it. Who's your competition?
Is private engineering companies like Bainham Engineering Corporation, who drill 6-inch diameter cores out of bridges for about $7,000 a piece.
Sounds like a model, does it?
Pretty much. Except it uses mechanical data to test the quality of bridges. I'm trying to use the correlated chemical property of the bridge to test how fast it's going to start working.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. All right, who else has competition? Yes, sir.
There are a number of companies that do offer 3D scanners, especially in the medical industry, but one example is the PL3. That's a complete solution with a scanner and CAD software that can reverse engineer somebody's limb or anything else for that matter. But that starts at $12,285, and my kiosks should be in the hundreds of dollars.
Thank you very much. All right, anyone else have competition? Coming to you, my friend. Who have we got?
So our primary competition is 4D Technologies with their FaceCam 4060.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the difference between 4D and 3D?
So it's the name of the company.
Oh, okay.
4D Technologies.
Okay. Sounds way less cool than I thought it would be. All right, anyone on this table have competition? Yes, sir. There you go, my friend. Thank you.
Yeah, so our competition would be like Digital Interactive Apps and Action Centers and the rehab clinics.
All right, awesome. Thank you. All right. So we all have some competition that we're dealing with. If you have no competition, you've always had a competition of them doing nothing, right? But at some point, what we have to do is we have to convince people to use our product or to buy our product or to make the decision to use our product. Does that make sense to everybody? Right, so everyone, let's go around quickly. What are people's majors here? Who's from the North Campus? Okay, what are our majors? Rapid fire. What's your major?
Operation and Analytics, man.
Fantastic, thank you very much. What's your major, my friend? Mechanical engineering. What?
Mechanical engineering.
Mechie, right, mechanical engineering, thank you, sir. At the back, what's your major, my friend? Huh? Oh, can we stop using short forms? I just typed out down to make me very confused. Yes. Huh? Thank you. That one I get in the first time around. Electrical engineering, right. Is anyone's major a social science? Is it?
She's not here tonight.
Huh?
One is, but she's not here tonight.
What's her major?
I think it was
We don't even know.
psychology.
There we go. Alright, well that's what my nature is. No, seriously, right? At some point, we have two kind of worlds, right, when it comes to developing products, developing tools, developing companies, whatever it is, right? One is the science, right? Whatever you're making, the geniusness behind your inventions, right? The brilliance of that node of innovation, right? And that's the design world. But then on top of that, we have the psychology world, the human world, right? That moment where you have to sell or convince somebody to do something differently, or to invest in you, or to use you, or to buy you, or whatever it may be, right? That little bit is where I come in. That is where you need to convince a human to do something. Now, we all make decisions, right? Correct? Right, there we go. Does anyone know the general decision equation, the equation of decision making? Pretty much, pretty close, right? The general decision making is B and C, benefits and costs, right? So if we want someone to make a decision, right, we need to think about benefits and cost, right? Now this is where this idea of a value proposition comes in, right? Now let's think about value for a second, right? I'm going to give you a quick example, right? I was talking to my students the other day in class, and we were talking about the issue being, right, our issue being, students don't learn enough in the lecture hall, right? Would you all agree that sometimes that's the case? Right? Do you all wish or want, right, to learn more or retain more or understand more in the lecture room so that when you walk out you don't have to study as hard, read as hard, work as hard, right? That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? That's a good pitch, right? So what I said to my students was, I was saying, I've got a product, I've got a tool, right? And when you come into the class, what you're going to have to do for 3 minutes is you're going to have to stand on one leg, hop up and down, while I turn the lights off and I throw stress balls at you. And my idea, my theory, my company is based on this idea that mild levels of neurological stimulation coupled with physiological and physical arousal coupled with fear leads to greater excitation in core neurons associated with the frontal lobe that lead to greater activation of the memory and recall pathways, which mean that for the next hour or so you are going to learn better, learn more, and be a better person for it, right? Everyone think my product's pretty decent, right? Now here's the question. Let's say I asked you to do that, right? Let's say I asked you, all the UMass world in general, to invest in my company, right? To employ and make all of you suffer this unbearable product. Every lecture of your life for 4 years, right? Now, if I told you that my product, tool, implementation, whatever it would be, right? My product or tool led to a 50% increase in your retention and performance at college, right? Let's talk about a whole GPA grade, right? I'll take you from 3s to 4s, right? Would you do it? Most people, yes sir? You'd do it? Yeah, you'd do it, right? Okay, so we'll do it. We'll do it for a whole GPA grade, right? But now let me ask you this, could you do it if it raised your GPA 0.001? No, right? Why? Not worth it, right? The investment is not worth the cost. So when it comes to value, we don't just think about benefits and costs. We have to think about size of investment and size of benefit, right? So you're asking someone to invest a lot, be it money, be it time, be it whatever, be it risk, right? We need to give them a lot. And in the same way, when you invest a little, you don't have to give them as much, right? But we constantly need to be thinking to ourselves, who is the person that we need to decide to use our product, and how do we convey to them value in a way that will make it logical, if not malpractice, for them not to do it, right? And the other thing you need to think about, depending on your product, is who is making what decision. Because you will often, in some products, you will have users and you will have customers. They are two different things sometimes, right? So not some products are right, iPhone case, great example, we have iPhone cases up there, right? An iPhone case, the user is the customer. Unless you're talking about someone's kid, right? I use my iPhone case, I buy my iPhone about online safety, the eventual goal being they don't end up unsafe and awful online, okay? The user was the teacher. The user was the kid, right? We had to make it of value to them, of worth to them. But they didn't pay for it. And they didn't pay for us. That was the federal government, the state government, right? The superintendents who had to give us the money to come into the room to give the product, right? So when you're designing these products, when you're making these cells, it's about a value proposition. It's about conveying that value, right? But it's also about knowing who you're conveying that value to, and if the value needs to shift, depending on if you're talking to a user or a client. That's how you create a compelling pitch, and that's how you get someone to make the decision to buy your product. And that isn't an easy thing. Think how many days, how many times a day, somebody tries to sell you something. Somebody tries to make you do something. Someone offers you a tool, a service, a product, whatever it may be. Can you think of 50 times today someone's tried to sell you something? Upsell you a coffee, upsell you a lunch, right? Upsell you a product online, upsell you an ad on your user pages, right? What's our general tendency? Ignore it. No, our general tendency is, right? There's a psychological bias called status quo, right? Which is the idea that we love nothing more than nothing changing. We are rooted in our ways, right? So not only are you trying to convince people of your value, you have to convince them that that value is worth more than them doing what they really want to do, which is nothing, right? So this is a fine line to thread. I'll give you one more thing, and I'll give you a couple of examples, and then we've got value mad lib for you to start identifying your value pictures and unpack some of these issues, all right? There's one more thing I want you to think about. When it comes to the psychology of decision making, there are certain things that make us do decisions very quickly, and certain things that make us not do things at all, right? We often think of people as rational or irrational, right? And so when we're mapping out our value props, we're often thinking, well, it's rational to use my product. My product's, like you were saying, my product's cheaper. Your product, my product's cheaper, right? It's rational, it'll save you time, it'll save a business time, it'll save whatever corporation it might be, right? Do you know how often people aren't rational? All of the time, right? And so sometimes relying on the rationality of the user isn't enough. You need to tap into something deeper, right? Let me give you an example. The iPhone case is an example I'll go with because it was on the board a minute ago. Who here uses an iPhone case? Just out of curiosity, right? Anyone not use an iPhone case? Wow, I was on my own for a real long time on that one, right? But no, I didn't use an iPhone case for 5 years, right? Deeply irrational. I smash my phone every year. I have always had to replace my phone. It cost me hundreds of dollars. Why didn't I do it? Because I liked the feeling of my phone in my hand and I thought cases were ugly. And yeah, cases aren't ugly, there's a whole thing. No. In my mind, cases were ugly, never had a case, right? Deeply irrational. I had a daughter. I put a case on my phone the next day. Because a smashed phone can cut my kid, right? So something was bigger suddenly than irrationality to me. It was about a value, right? And so when you look at some of the companies behind me, I want you to think not just about the value proposition, but about what the value that they're tapping into is. Something bigger than just rationality, bigger than just a calculation. So if you go here, right, if we go to this one right here, we'll get to this in a moment, which is how to characterize yours. But if you go to hydraulic walker, right? So hydraulic walker was a movement aid, as I remember it basically, but it used hydraulic technology to aid people get up the stairs. If you go to the next one, we'll go to Invisaware. Invisaware was a safety, basically a safety technology that allowed you to press a button on a piece of jewelry and it would immediately call the police and alert you to the fact that you were in danger, right? Now, what was their cost-benefit analysis? It was that most tracking things were ugly and people didn't want to wear them because they didn't look good. Most pepper sprays were inconvenient. It was inconvenient to use your phone if you actually were in a car crash. So they needed something cheap, convenient, and ideally something that looked nice that you would actually wear, right? They're the little bits of the value proposition. That's how they undercut their competition. But what they were really selling, and when they go into their pitches, they were selling a sense of security. They were selling a sense of safety. If you go back to the hydraulic walker before, yes, they're selling you a tool or a product that may be cheaper, easier to manufacture, better for widespread distribution, and some of the difference makers companies have done, things like going into third world countries where you can aid and give out some of these prosthetic limbs. But they're also tapping into an idea of movement, of freedom, right? Of exploration, these fundamental human drives. So as you go into your value proposition, just think to yourself, what are people really going to listen to? What are they going to buy into? What's going to make them want to do this? Because sometimes if you can tap into something bigger, something that means something, people will overlook irrationality. And that might be what you need to get them to get up, get off their ass, stop and listen to the status quo. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do what we call a Mad Libs, right? Which is everyone's going to do this as their team. And so we're going to start off with this basic thing, which is we sell A, your product, sell if you want, give if you want to be really kind. A, to B, the customer or the person who's going to pay. Our customer has a problem, it is C, and we solve this by doing D, right? So every person, every team, this is your task. You have 15 minutes to do it, then we're going to go around the room and hit them all, right? Outline this. Start to map out the problem, the customer, your solution, right? And then start building these 30 seconds value propositions. Remember, it has to make sense, you have to get buy-in, people are going to want to have to give you cash at the end of this. That's how you sell it, alright? So get to work, we'll go around the tables, we'll help you out. We've got 15, 20 minutes to do it, because it's a difficult task. Alright, everybody. Alright, everybody, let's go around the room, let's do a couple quick value proposition Mad Libs. Let's wrap this all up, let's go around to our dinner. So who has a Mad Lib that they're ready to go with? A, B, C, D, or even I'll take a elevator pitch. I'm going to start at the back and I'm going to walk my way forward. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then I'll come over here, and then I'll come over there. So we're going to go to the back first. Value prop, hit it.
Alright, I have a tester for towns. They have the problem of their bridges are falling down and they have too many bridges. My solution is to let them test more bridges faster and hopefully cheaper.
Well done, great value proposition. Okay.
So we're going to be selling kiosks to public spaces for people who need assistive devices to be able to obtain and maintain them at a lower cost. We solve this by using less expensive technology to create a 3D model and manufacture a silicone insert that fits perfectly, as well as ship it to the user.
We sell secure smart home solutions to existing smart home users. Our customer has a problem and it's a lack of data privacy. We plan to solve this by allowing our users to mediate the messages that are being sent out of their house, deciding what information is sent out from their smart home devices, as well as offering a more secure smart home devices in the future. That way they don't have to use third-party devices.
Thank you. All right, we'll go across here and we'll work our way around here. So there you go, Jackson, your hands up.
So we would be selling our app server solutions to certain individuals with a problem of recovering from addiction, including those with substance abuse issues and behavioral addictions. And what sets us apart is that a lot of people going through these problems, they don't like to talk to other people and share their experience because they don't want to be judged. And so we have an anonymous form of a social app where you can share your experience and gain advice on how to go about it.
All right. So quick question, sorry. So you've got your users of the app, which are the recovering addicts. Are they also the people paying for the app and paying for the company and paying for the upkeep, or do you have other funders? Awesome. No, all right. It's just good to know. You've got users and you've got customers, and sometimes they're not the same.
So my company is going to sell modular solutions for solar panel efficiency for homeowners. Their solution is they don't have enough natural light in their areas to be able to have solar panels on their houses. So we're going to provide them with a thing that they can, it looks better, it does it more efficiently, they can get their price back faster, and they don't have to worry about maybe taking down the value of their house by having solar panels and trying to contribute to the environment that way.
Thank you. Very good. Appreciate it, my friend. Okay, over to you, my friend.
Yeah, so pretty much what we sell is automated order-taking software for coffee chains. Our customer is actually the corporate chain's corporate office, since they're the ones that do all this funding and allocations. So the problem our customer faces is low throughput due to high employee turnover rates in the fast food industry. By solving the problem, we'll reduce employee workload, making it reducing the turnover because it's an easier job. And also by saving our service time, it will increase the revenue for owners.
All right, thank you very much. All right, appreciate that. Okay, and I know we've got two over here that we've
We sell our interferometers to optics testing and fabrication shops. Our customer has a problem, and it is loss of efficiency, overuse of man hours, and pain of use for their alignment engineers.
We solve this problem by providing an interferometer with a versatile frame and mount, instantaneous phase shifting, and a solid-state laser rather than a helium-neon laser.
Any of them are sound fantastic.
Hello, our company Ideal Air sells a welding helmet with a built-in respirator to welders, and the current problem is the inhalation of carcinogens and particles from welding. And we solve this problem by creating a welding helmet with a built-in respirator to negate these fumes and particles. Thank you.
I think that is everyone's value proposition. All right, round of applause, everyone. That was absolutely right. All right, so before we close it up for the evening, I just want a couple quick points on value propositions just to remember, right? As you go forward in this competition, right, so we're doing the value props now, we've got the opportunities, we've got the issues, we've got the problem, we've got a bunch of well-developed solutions in the room, right? We're going to start building towards that rocket pitch, right? We're going to start building towards pitching to people, trying to get investment, and eventually, hopefully, we're going to culminate in a couple-minute presentation on top of that stage at the Difference Makers last event. At any point in those, whatever it may be, right, those presentations, people are going to want to know about your value proposition at all levels of your product, right? So when it comes to your product, it's not just one value prop to one person. There's multiple value propositions you need to think about for any person who is engaging either with the product or with you, right? So over there, for example, of the recovering addicts, right? Again, it's a classic example of you've got the user, right? There's a value proposition you need to make to them. Why should they use your app? What will they get from it? What are the competitors in that space doing, right? But then someone has to use it. Someone has to give you the money to run it, right? Unless it's a non-profit, but either way, you still need money. I'm sorry. First of all, non-profit, since they still need money. But, you know, that may be a different audience. The value proposition may look different. The values may look different. The pitch may look different. But you still need to show to them what the value is, what they're getting in return, what their investment means. Now, at the bottom, you've got an investment of time, right? And at the top, you've got an investment of money. But they're both investments, and they both need a value proposition. And the same way here we've got with yours, right? The idea of the helmets with the breathable material. You've got the company CEO who wants to worry about his workforce and maintaining his workforce and hiring and retention and employing the best people and showing them that they care about safety and security. We also have an end user for whom it has to be comfortable, breathable. They want to do their job well. They have to feel that they do their job well, right? Which is exactly the same with our coffee example here. The baristas need to benefit and see the value in working with an algorithm, the same way the CEO of Starbucks needs to see the value in paying you $1 million to do the algorithm and allowing him to fire a bunch of his people and get the negative PR, right? But whatever, there are multiple people who will be involved in and use your product, and any judge could ask you any level of question, right? So you need to have an answer of what would make a CEO decide to use you, decide to pay you, decide to incorporate you, and if it's different, what would make the user, that person in the street, that person in the company, that person in society, use your product instead. And never underestimate the human tendency to be irrational and to do nothing. So really think deeply on this. I said this to my friend there with the windows, with the solar, right? We always think of, here's all the reasons people should use my product. And we get lost in that positivity bubble. Oh, it's brilliant, it's genius, it saves money, it's revolutionary, it looks amazing, right? We always forget to think about, well, why wouldn't someone use it? People don't like technology, right? Flat out. People don't like technology, they don't like using it, right? So how can you start by assuaging their concerns? And often when we sell people things, we have to start by convincing them it's not the thing they don't like, before we can convince them it is the thing we like, right? So just sometimes take a second, sit back and think, if someone was going to list 10 reasons why they didn't want to use my product, what would they be and how would I convince them otherwise? So that you're armed to sell someone who wants it and to convince someone who doesn't that maybe they should listen and maybe they should think about it. And that's the kind of the humanity piece of this, right? So that's all you're ever going to get from a psychologist. You're all North Campus people. You can ignore us now. Our existence is entirely pointless. Don't take any of our courses. But no, just think about that. You have a human decision maker, possibly multiple, and you need them to make the decision to integrate your company, to pay you money, to believe in your idea. You're going to do it with a value proposition. You're going to do it by thinking about what matters to them and thinking about why they wouldn't want to do it to begin with. If you answer those three questions, you're going to do a really compelling pitch that has a really good job of convincing people. And if you ever need help and you don't want any advice tapping into what value should be at play or how to think about it, come find me. I live on South Campus. I do this stuff all the time when it comes to decision making and selling things to corporations. So that I think, let me just double check we've got everything else. Can we just go to our last slide to make sure we arm everyone with the information they need? Okay, so we've got, yeah, there you go. So, okay. Two things then. So this is the next workshop. February 28th is today. No, February 28th is Thursday, Wednesday. So you've got Wednesday, business models and solutions. That is going to be about fundability. A big question people are going to ask, how much money do you need? How much money do you need to grow? How much money do you need to survive, right? That's where the business model comes in. What's the structure? How does all of that look like? So that'll be a really, really good one for you. And the last one you've got building up, I know Kathy's at that one, building up to that rocket pitch, okay? I'll give you one more piece of advice on the opportunity side of things. Speak to the end users as much as you can. Speak to the CEOs, speak to the end users, speak to the customers, speak to the clients. The more you talk to humans, the more you understand humans. And the better you understand humans, the better you can sell to humans. It's as simple as that. So whatever opportunities you get, if it's a 5-minute phone call, if it's watching videos of people, whatever it may be out there, find your audience, find your customer, learn as much as you can. That's it from us. Ray, any more?
Let's see, if there are any more slides.
There we go. Please email David if you have any questions. There you go. All right, obviously, everyone, you've been wonderful today. Thank you for your engagement. They were really excellent rocket pitches. This is an amazing group of products. I'll see you next at the pitch off. And just have a wonderful evening. Thank you, everyone, for being a part.